Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel Truck It Proud. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about all things trucking. It's going to be a bit of a varied sort of variety of subjects. We're going to get right into it, and basically if you're a new driver you're going to want to hear all this, so don't go anywhere. Let's do this. So what can you expect as a HGV driver? You've just passed your test, you've gone through the painstaking task of trying to find a job when you really struggled because every place out there is asking for experience, some even 2 years experience. But anyway, we got past that, you've got your job, and if you haven't, I feel for you guys. It is hard, stick at it, you will find something, even if it's something that you don't really want to do. You just have to get on with it for a few months, get that experience behind your belt, and then you can be looking forward to a bright, clear future of driving an articulated lorry around this beautiful island that we know as the United Kingdom. So what can you expect to earn as a HGV driver? You'll be looking at around 30 to 40,000 pounds is an average general kind of wage that you would expect to get as a HGV driver in the UK. However, with that said, it can be more, but this will depend on if you do any kind of specialist work. If you stay out all week in your lorry doing tramping, you can probably earn 60,000, sometimes even a little bit more. Like I say, it does vary with the kind of jobs that you do. The good thing about this industry is there is so many different types of work that you can do and get into, so it does leave you a lot of variations if you're the sort of person that gets bored easy, and then you can move on and do something different. So that leads on quite nicely to my next subject, which is what kind of work should you get into? And this will all vary on what kind of person you are and how your lifestyle is. If you're like me, where you have a young family and you like to be a part of your family's lives, then day driving is probably the best thing for you. However, if you're single, free, and you want to explore the world, then maybe tramping's for you. You get to see more places, you go further afield, and you earn more money, so that's a positive. It just depends if you like not basically seeing your family and friends and having a nice car to drive around 2 days a week at the weekend. What you expect of other road users? Truth of the matter is, probably not a lot. Most people these days don't really have much respect for lorry drivers. However, we were very respected when the pandemic happened, you know. Key workers, yay, let's clap, all that stuff. As soon as it's over, that all goes out the window. You'll be sitting at junctions, nobody will let you out, especially when there's traffic and you can't merge onto the roundabout without blocking the whole entire thing. So then you end up looking like an absolute arse because you're the one that pulls out into the roundabout and blocks it because nobody wanted to let you in. So don't expect a lot of courtesy from other drivers, especially when you're in the more built up areas, as I am near London. You will get stuck in a lot of traffic because some people just simply can't drive and cause accidents. It is what it is. As a professional driver, you will be expected to be the one that's always got your ears and eyes in the back of your head, because if you don't, one little thing goes wrong, it's all on you, baby. As a HGV driver, how many hours am I expected to do? Well, this is also another varied question. Me, for example, I will average around 50 to 60 hours a week. Not too bad as far as lorry driving goes. I've seen people on some platforms complaining about doing 45 hours a week. Now for some trampers, that's a Wednesday. So yeah, you can do up to, I'd say, in a realistic sort of week, if you're tramping and you're out all week and you're trying to maximize your hours, you could be looking between 65 and 70 hours. That's pretty much a go. if you're going to be out a week, you're going to, you know, do as much work as you can to maximize your earnings. So yeah, that's what you can expect in terms of hours that you will do in this industry. What else can I expect in the UK as a HGV driver on a daily basis? Well, be prepared. This is one thing that you're pretty much guaranteed, especially if you live down in the southeast near London. That's it, blissful traffic, tail to tail, as far as the eye can see. There's nothing like it. Okay, so you've told me how much you earn on a annual basis, 30 to 40 grand a year. That's great. I want to know, what can I expect to take home on a weekly basis after tax? Now, like I say, this will vary depending on if you are on 30 to 40 grand, but you can probably expect between £500 a week up to about £900 a week. Like I say, £900 a week will probably be if you're out tramping out all week. £500 would be if you're day driving, and probably on about 30 grand a year. So probably aim for the middle of that, 650, 700 a week. That's probably a realistic sort of take-home figure that you'll be taking. So 2,400, 2,500 a month. It's not too bad for this country. So that's prepare to be ripped off at service stations, because if you haven't brought your lunch with you, you're going to be paying through the odds. Probably 2 to 3 times the amount you would pay at the supermarket for a sandwich or a drink. They'll try and give you a deal. They'll say, oh, if you buy 2 bottles, it works out cheaper. Okay, how much is 1 bottle on its own? £2.50. I'm sorry, what? £2.50 for a little bottle of Coke? Yeah. Well, how much is it for 2? £3. Right, so they're £1.50 each. So that's right. Okay, yeah, great. Things like that. Probably a bad example, but there are other things like it. And if you like coffee, then you know that's going to cost you a £5 a day minimum. So I would advise that you bring your own stuff into work with you. It will save you a hell of a lot of money in the long run, and yeah, you know you're not going to be ripped off. And you should be prepared to be a serial napper, because there's one thing that we like to do as truck drivers, and that is have a good nap. And these beds nowadays are just, I actually prefer this bed to my own bed at home. Sometimes I wonder why I don't do nights out. I mean, I do occasional nights out, but on a general basis, I'm usually home most nights. And I've started to realise, since I've been sleeping in this bed, how uncomfortable my actual bed is. So I'll be investing in a new bed myself soon. Now, loneliness is something that you should expect in this job as well. It's not always the case. However, I suggest you keep yourself immersed in a regular podcast. You kind of feel like you're connecting, and when you're listening to people talking, it's a lot better than just listening to music on the radio. I tend to find when I just listen to the radio or music, I get tired very quick, and it's just not good for me. So I tend to listen to podcasts, and I tend to, when I'm stopped and I'm on bays, watch a lot of things on YouTube, educational stuff. It's more beneficial than just listening to random generic crap, basically what I would say is on the radio. So yeah, be prepared for loneliness, because it does get boring. And also another good tip is try and find like-minded drivers like yourself that you can talk to on a regular basis, because having that camaraderie, if you like, where you can speak to other drivers and we understand what each other are going through, does help a lot. I have a good group of friends that I talk to on a regular basis, pretty much every day I'm at work, and sometimes even when I'm not at work, and we all talk. And it's not just trucking stuff. We talk about our families, mental health, absolutely everything. We are literally like best friends. It's really weird how we're all from totally different places. For example, one of the friends is Australian, people from down south, people from up north of the country, just all over. So it really does help, especially when you've got a variety of people. It makes it a little bit more interesting, and yeah, it just makes the day go a little bit quicker when you've got other people to talk to. Another thing you've got to understand in this industry is that no day is ever the same. You cannot plan to be finished at a certain time. You cannot really even plan to start at a certain time. You can have a varied sort of start and finish, but in general, with traffic and all the other things that you have to take in consideration, like being loaded, being unloaded, you don't really ever know when you're going to finish. Some days you could do an 8-hour day, some days you could do a 15-hour day. It's just the way the industry is. So try not to make after work commitments, because you'll find yourself breaking those commitments quite a lot. It does vary, like I say, different types of jobs. If you're, I don't know, say doing fuel tankers, maybe you're going to be going to a petrol station, you're going to be going straight there, unloading. You can get a rough idea of what sort of time you're going to be finishing. However, if you're going to a warehouse, a bit like what I do, then you just don't know how long it's going to take for you to get tipped. Could be 20 minutes, could be 3 hours, who knows? And then you've got to deal with the traffic on the way home. So it does vary. So be that mindful of that, and yeah, just expect that you won't be finishing at a regular time every day. One of the great things you can expect from this job is to be left alone. You will find that you kind of feel like your own boss when you're doing this job. You'll generally get your jobs, go and get them done, and you won't hear from the office unless there's been a change of plans, or you end up ringing them because you've got an issue with your truck or some reason like that. But in general, once you get in your truck and you're out on the road, you're pretty much rolling solo for the rest of the day. They're just there if you need them, and vice versa. And the thing you need to be prepared for the most is to wear high quality and decent trucking merchandise. Now you can get this on my website in the description and the link below, www.truckitproud.com. And even if you don't buy anything, just do us a favour, head over there, have a little look, see what you think, and give me some feedback on the community bit on YouTube. And yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give us a little like, subscribe, and I shall see you on the next video. Cheers for watching, guys. See you later.